Yes, want to stay, not force. And so, from my understanding, the speech and debate, that's a district funded program, correct or incorrect? Okay. And so that's important to note because we're saying that the schools don't have funds, but yet we're supplementing that program through the district. And so there is ways to use district funds to supplement those programs and to offer equity where it's lacking because of population size. And so that's what we're talking. We're trying to get into those critical discussions. Um, in terms of tutoring, that's a great point that you brought up that they don't have enough teachers and staff for that. But Miss Stephanie Serrano, advocated for $2 million to be allocated specifically for this. So that way we don't give more work to teachers after work. They need to go home and rest or do whatever else they do. I know they do a lot after school too. So I advocated, set aside $2 million just for tutoring. So we have the money there to supplement schools that are higher need. Like Think Together, if we have a contract with Think Together, they should be tutoring the students. That's what's needed. Um, and we need to have quality assessment to make sure that's doing. In terms of school site council, let's just go to segregation. Yes, that's why we had the school choice options because of segregation. So what happened is we decided, once again, I have my finger on the pulse. This is what I read and study on my weekend, on my free time. This is what I'm passionate about, okay? Finger on the pulse. So segregation, what we said is, you know what? The kids, they're homeschools in working class community across the United States. Yeah, they might be different. They may be treated differently. Let's give them the opportunity to go anywhere they want because of segregation. And while what happened is we looked the other way, let the kids go what they want, and we allowed those homeschools to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose resources to increase the gap of inequity. That's what's happening. So, and in terms of the school site council, and I also have my finger on the pulse on the LCAP. I've been studying the LCAP before I was on the Board of Education. And what I learned as a community member, as an activist, as a person that had my finger on the pulse, is that the LCAP, no offense to anybody, right? I'm not here to kiss nobody or say it, I'm trying my best to say it nicely. The LCAP, from my understanding, has really disenfranchised the community's voice because it has gave the illusion of local control when it's really local control by local politicians, okay? And then you have the myth that school site councils, no disrespect to anybody, that the school site councils are running the programs. I beg to differ because I've had people come here saying I didn't get enough training for school site council. At the end of the day, who is really making those decisions in that school site council meeting? I had people speaking to me in Spanish. They didn't even give me training in Spanish. When our district has so many Spanish speaking people, right? So we have this myth that the school site council is running, that the LCAP, that local control, and as an activist, as a finger on the pulse, that is a sham. The local control is the local politicians that are playing that game, and then the people helping them. And so, as a matter of fact, moving forward, I want all the school site council meetings recorded. I want to be able to pull them up as an activist, as a community member, because there's so much decision making going on there. They got all the power. I mean, sometimes I'm told they have more power than me as a board. And that's fine. I respect that. Parents should have more power. But I'm really I don't believe that. I haven't seen it come to fruition. I feel like people are like, just like when we had the closures. What do you want? What do you want? You want 20 things? Okay, let's reduce it to 3 things. Well, and then now I'm the leader, the facilitator of this class. I'm gonna choose one thing. Oh, then why did I just spend an hour here if you deduced it to what you wanted? Okay, so this is the fact. So moving forward in our district, I want all school site council meetings recorded for transparency. Anything else? And we could confer to our lawyer to make sure it's legal. Thank you. Mr. De La Torre.
Thank you. I think we can all agree that we don't want to force our parents to keep their children and stay at a school that they feel that they're not meeting their needs. Bottom line, I know we're limited to the time. Let's say in elementary, 6 years, K to fifth. Sometimes parents are not going to keep their kids there or until some program comes along. If the program is already in place at another school site, parents are going to go and just, if it's already being implemented, it's been running great, I'm going to enroll my kid there. So I do think I know, I hear kind of both sides, like we want to keep them at that school site in order to bring programs in, but at the same time, as a parent, I'm not willing to sacrifice the education of my kids to keep them at a school site that is not going to meet the needs of my child. So
Thank you so much. So now what I'm advocating for is quadrant ride, just kind of like basic programs, right? So every quadrant should have a STEM program. Every quadrant should have arts programs. Every quadrant should have AP advanced opportunities, um, recreational clubs, right? So I understand that maybe every school in that quadrant doesn't have the capacity to offer all those things. That's hello, come on. So, but we can supplement that as a district by offering something quadrant wide. So, for example, we could have Saturday school at Workman High School, and all the students in the Workman quad could come and get free tutoring, and they can make up all their absences so we could keep money, right? Get more money from their absences. There's ways to do it in a way where we're not putting more pressure on the school, but we're supplementing it as a district because we want kids to stay there in their quadrant, whether it's STEM, arts, tutoring. This is just the beginning of a discussion. We'll have more discussions. I think a good place to start, once again, is asking the people, the consumers, what are you missing at your homeschool? What do you need to go back to your homeschool? They're going to give us the best answers. So unless we have anything additional, we're going to go ahead and move forward, as this was just a discussion item. Moving forward, 7.02, Board of